everywhere, girl. I was seeing you on Grady's leaderboards. I've been seeing you Hall of Fame. I saw you at the lock-in a couple weeks ago, up there in the top 3, absolutely killing it. So you are making waves in the industry. And like I said, couldn't be more honored to have you on. If you just kind of wanted to start with like your backstory, what you were doing what you were doing before this, how you found FFL.
Yeah. So, when I first kind of like learned a little bit more about sales, I was just working as a medical assistant. I was just working, just trying to make ends meet, kind of go about what I was already taught. But I saw somebody posted on social media, just like a number, it was like a calculator. And honestly, I didn't really think twice about it. I was more excited. I was like, I don't know what this is, but it could be a way for me to start like funding for my business, like starting off, right? Because I wanted to go in that direction, but I never knew how to actually get in it. I felt like nobody really ever presented an opportunity, and it wasn't going to be handed over to me, so I knew I had to take action towards it. So when I saw it, I was like, I just have to go. I just have to reach out, see what's going on. So I reached out, and it was at a practice company to begin with. Um, and I went in there. I got like taught everything that I was supposed to be taught, and I continued to do the work, and I felt like opportunities, like doors still open up. And I found Family First Life, took the exact same work ethics and the exact same grind, and then I put it into Family First Life. And that's how things just started to bloom, I would say, because like obviously Family First Life, it gives us more of an opportunity to be able to be in control of how many people you call a day, how many sales you make. Like you're not being tied down to something. Um, but I flew down to Florida when I first learned more about the opportunity. So it was the Florida office with Nonstop Financial. And I was there for months. I went there. I slept on air mattresses. I did all of that when I started off. I said, you know what? I can't fail in this industry. I can't fail at whatever I'm doing. I I'm not going to stop working. So there's no way that I could fail. Nor am I going to go sidetrack. I know I can do it. I knew what my potential was. So I with it every single day, and I knew that I just had to put in more and more effort and do things that I was never in like a mindset of doing beforehand in order to put myself in a new position. To be somebody that I've never been before is to continuously just like push myself every single day. So that's what I did. And I mean, when I first started, I was calling bronze leads, so I was just working. I didn't complain. I was just like, whatever's handed to me, I honestly, it was all I knew at the time too. So I didn't think anything wrong of it. I was like, okay, I gotta work. Like I gotta understand this. Like this in sales, right? But obviously, as time goes on, you start to learn more, so you start to implement more, start to progress, and then start to help more around you too to be able to get to a position that you're able to get to, but a lot faster, right? As
Yeah.
a them to be to in that position that like it took you kind of months to get to, but they can do it like their first 2 months.
Yeah, I love that. So, Montserrat, you said you knew you wanted to go into sales, but there could have been like you could have done real estate, you could have done solar, you could have done pest control, right? And a lot of times, all these other industries are marketing like the really good parts of the business. What was it about like life insurance that you were like, that is going to be a better sales industry than maybe some of these other ones?
Honestly, I didn't know about any other sales industry. That's the thing. It's like there's a lot of people out there that don't know any like sales even exist because it's based off of like environment, like things that you're taught. I come from like a Hispanic background, so it's not something that we're actually taught. So to me, it was very, very new. I had no idea it was sales, it was life insurance, but I knew that it was an opportunity that I've never ever dived into, nor that my family or generations have ever been presented with. So I knew I had to take it on in order to change that
Yeah, that's really
and
cool.
do it.
And I saw you are getting, is it your brother?
Yes, my brother, he's in it with me.
Okay, did you guys start at the same time or you just recruited him in?
No, we started. I brought him into the practice company too, and I didn't really know how commission worked. I didn't know how structured work or anything like that. I started at 50% comp too. So it's like I didn't really know, but at the same time, I didn't care about it. My main purpose for that, like bringing him in, I told him, I was like, hey, like this is gonna be the opportunity to where we're really gonna make like a change, to where we are. We're gonna help our family out. I told him, if you end up picking up on sales before I do, you better teach me how to do it. I brought him at the same time. Um, but that's also a reasoning as to why I kept fighting for more opportunity, because it's like I have my brother there. I I have to keep going, and I have to actually find a way to make things more possible for him too.
Yeah. And was it Jay's social media post that you had saw?
No, it was actually somebody DM'd me. Somebody DM'd me, and I was already in the process of like there's more to it. So it was just like perfect timing.
Yeah.
Right.
So cool that you also have like such an open mindset too, because I mean, you know as well as I do with social media, a lot of times like people are putting this stuff out there and you can think like, oh, this is too good to be true, or you get a lot of like, that's not real. And it's hard to get it across to people, but it's like, it is real. And like, it's hard to like, you almost want to come through the phone and like shake people because you're like, it is real. And I don't know how to prove that to you other than you getting licensed and start selling, right?
Exactly. And that's why I continue to do both. Like that's another thing I learned in sales is you really just got to do both. You got to do whatever you're taught to implement. It's like marketing, social media, DMing. You have to do it consistently every single day. And that's why I consistently post, consistently have somebody like DMing people for me. That's another key thing that people can really dive into. It's just having somebody just manage that for you, but obviously, you have to do the work to begin with to be able to get into a position where somebody can start managing that for you.
Yeah.
Because it's never know. For me, my mindset on it's like my thought process is somebody has to want more for themselves out there. So just like sales, if I like, it's all about finding somebody at the right time. Because obviously, if you're running like instant, real time leads, it's like they still work. You just have to find them at the right time sometimes. So that's the same thing that I have with people is sometimes you have to find them at the right time to where they're needing an opportunity like that.
Yeah, for sure. Now, Montserrat, you obviously, sell at a really high level, like 400 grand last year. Your team's performing at a really high level and you're 22, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so most 22-year-olds are at the club or doing whatever they're doing, or they're maybe just getting out of college and they're figuring out life. So just naturally, you being young, like a lot of times we don't have this like drive. Where does that come from for you? Like, why are you doing all this right now when you could be out being a 22-year-old?
I've just always wanted more. I've always wanted more. Like I felt like there's so much like potential to what we're already given. Like I can walk, I can talk, I can there's so much that I can do already. So I know there's already people like my mindset on that too is like there's already so many people out there that have $1 million businesses. People like yourself too, Marissa, like where you have a really big agency, like there's people doing it. So I want to push myself to that as well to be able to do it as well because it's possible, right? And that's where I have a hunger, I have a hunger where I want it consistently every single day. Also, like childhood growing up, I there's I feel like I have no reasoning to ever like give up or say or complain or just like want to do something else, right?
Yeah, I love that. When you got into the industry, did you have any like anybody that was like negative in your life that was saying like, oh, that doesn't work, or life insurance this, sales is that, or like you should just get a normal job?
Everybody.
How did you
Ev-
deal with
um I didn't deal with it. I separated myself from everybody because I was like, you know what, I want it. I didn't deal with whatever they had to say. I just kind of took it in and I was like, okay, I understand that, that's people's mindset. And I saw it more of like, this is the same way I was to where I wasn't taught something. I saw, something that like Sean Mike says nowadays too, where it's like people are taught something and they're able to do the right thing, have a family. but at the same time, you have a vision for a reasoning. So I felt like I had a vision for a reasoning and I was meant to do more. And I didn't allow anybody to stop me from anything. I was like, I'm gonna make it happen no matter what people say. Because at the end of the day, it's either I stay here and I help nobody around me and we're all in the same place, or I'm the one that takes action and I help everybody else around me and I actually make an impact. That's the way that I saw it.
That's huge. And like so powerful that you just said that. I hope you guys are taking notes. She said, I can stay here and we're going to all be in the same position, or I can be the one that takes action. That's pretty crazy when you think about it. So that's awesome. Okay. So Montserrat, talk to us about your strategy as far as like your leads, right? Like what leads do you run? How much do you spend? Or if you're hiring a new agent, I'm a new agent coming into your team. What are you telling me to do as far as lead strategy?
So, obviously, when you're first starting off, whether you have income or not, I'm going to help you out, right? So, I'm consistently selling at a high level because I'm wanting to fund for my business as well. And I'm going to show you exactly what it takes by me doing it first. So, you're going to sit right next to me, you're going to sit in the same office as me, and you're going to hear me on calls. You're going to see the type of work ethic it takes to be consistently being able to sell at a high level. That way, you can replicate the exact same thing that I'm doing. I'm going to tell you exactly how to start funding once you're able to make that income back. But because I am selling at a high level, I have leads that I'm going to help you with and have you run. Like I mentioned before, they're instant. So you're going to find them at the right time if I couldn't find them at the right time, right? So they work. I've been able to do it myself, and you're going to see as well. So the thing for me is like I learned from other agency owners too, is like the first 2 days of a new team member's um, first 2 days or even 3 days, if I'm doing it and I'm able to sell at a high level, why wouldn't I have you sell at a high level to begin with? Like, why would I have you wait a couple days when I know it works? So, whatever I'm funding for, that's part of my process. And that was my decision as like becoming into this industry and taking responsibility. So, I have responsibility to make sure I can show you it works. So, I'm going to have you run my leads. Um, you're going to find somebody at the right time. I'm going to help you on your sit. You're going to unmute every single time. And then that way, in case you need help, I'm going to tell you exactly what to say on that phone. Whether you're on Zoom, it's the same thing as if you were in office with me or not, because I'm always unmuted. So if you need my help, simply unmute. Hey, Monty, I'm on a sit. Perfect. I'm going to help you just as if you were here in office next to me.
Yeah, I love that. And then after I make my first sale, I'm going out and buying my own leads. Am I doing IULs? Are you doing vet leads? What are you guys running?
It's going to be a vet lead to start off with because what I did is I contacted JB, so the CRM vet leads, those are the ones that I run consistently too, especially to be able to help like new team members come in. I think they're very easy to run. It's something that's able to be replicated too. Conversion's pretty good too. You know, the way it just, I like logical and it just makes sense. You know, people are at a point where they already want it to begin with. They have pensions, 401ks. So it's going to be really cool to see a new team member also be able to feel what it feels like to make like a 2 grand deal or a 3 grand deal and then have them be self-sustainable moving forward. Now they're asking me, hey, where should I start investing? What leads should I start running now? Exactly what I already taught you, but I'm going to show you when to invest and how to use even credit when you're first starting off in investing.
Right. Okay. And then what are my expectations as a new agent? So let's say you hire me and then I'm like, well, I can only get on Zoom 1 hour a week and I'm only going to make 10 dials and I don't know, I'm really busy this week, so I can't really get on, but you're still going to give me leads, right?
I'll still let a new agent run like through age leads, but what I let them know is like because I have somebody like that too. I'm not reaching out for you. Whenever you have the time, understand that I'm here in office, or you can get on Zoom and work with me while I'm on there. But I'm going to be helping the people that are consistently here 24/7 because they want it bad enough. They are here and they're putting in their full time, right? So it's like whenever you have the time, let me know. I'll still be here to help you out. You have those leads to run. And then if you have any questions, you know when to ask me questions. Just send me over a text message on mute when you're on a sit. Very simple, but I'm not overthinking it. Like if you want to be part-time, that's totally fine. I was like when I first started off, I started off by transitioning over from a job onto like sales. So I definitely understand that aspect, but understand that your results, like the time that you put in, is what's going to equal your results.
Yeah. So you're just straightforward with that right off the get-go.
Always straightforward because I don't want to bite my tongue on it. If I end up biting my tongue on it, then it's like I should have said it to begin with.
Right. I love that. And it is true, right? I have people that reach out about the business, and my biggest thing I always tell them, I say, selling life insurance is not hard. Finding clients is not hard. Dialing the phone is not really hard, right? The only thing that's hard is you staying dedicated to the schedule that you set for yourself. Because if you don't, there's nothing I can do about that, right?
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which is so huge. And why I also love the business, because everyone's success here really is self-driven, right? Every person that we see on this call, every person that you and I talk to, or mentors that we ask advice for, there's nobody that has been really successful that's like, oh, I did this special thing, right? Like
Exactly.
a bunch of people on this call run vet leads. A bunch of people on this call have run the bronze leads in the CRM. So as much as like you're a beast girl, you're not doing anything that anybody on this call can't just do.
Exactly.
So
Exactly. And everybody can do it.
yeah, for sure. Okay, perfect. So let's talk about balancing building and selling, right? You talked about doing both. That is like, the double threat, right? There's building an agency while selling at a high level. Sometimes people can be good at one or the other, right? You have sold much more insurance than I am. I do better on the building side, the personal sales side, not as much. And some people are different, right? We have Riyadh, he can go out and sell a million if he wants to, and we're going to build up his team, or so how do you balance, right? And that's where we're trying to figure out, how do you balance being a really high top producer as well as an agency owner, and where do you find that in your schedule?
So from the very beginning, like I understand that there's no balance. Like I understand there's no balance to nothing. Like if I have to take a recruiting call at 12 p.m. If I even sleep or not, I will take a recruiting call at 12 p.m. The thing is like I want to implement everything that I'm already taught. Sean said there's no balance. So I'm going to do absolutely everything that it takes right now to do both. Jay said do both. Daniel G, when he came and he talked to our agency, he said, if you're in sales, you got to do both. You got to do the building and you have to do the sales part too. So I would much rather take on that hard part compared to me being in a place to where I'm stressed because I'm not doing the work. Like I would much rather do both right now. So with like balancing it, I don't really see like there's no balance for me, you know? So it's like if I'm gonna sell here, if I make a sale at 9 p.m., then I take a recruiting call right after that sale, I'm pretty sure somebody's gonna understand me. It's like, hey, I just got off a call with a client. Are you still able to get on that call with me? Somebody
Right.
will understand. It's just about me being transparent and then just like still wanting it, not telling myself, okay, I'll just give them a call tomorrow. Like doing it now, basically.
Right. And you use that as your biggest recruiting tool, is, hey, look at these numbers I'm putting up myself.
Yeah, I'm always posting consistently. I did that even when I was only submitting 3 grand a week when I first started. Like I knew that what I was doing, I was going to be able to do it regardless. So I knew it was going to be a process. And if other people can see that process, and there's people that followed me even from the beginning, like you mentioned beforehand, that are reaching out now. It's like, hey, I've been seeing what you're doing. I'm interested in it now. Like I saw you from the very beginning. They're just kind of lurking, right? But hey, I'm doing it, so I would much rather post about what I'm doing because I'm passionate about it. This is where I spend like 24 hours on. This is where I spend all my time building. So I'm going to post about it consistently. That's also part of the business too.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so you also have really good persistency, right? Your clients stay on the books and they love you. Can you give us a couple things that you say maybe on the phone that lead to your clients staying on the books for a while, and what you're saying to them to make them realize how important this coverage is?
So with like keeping clients in the book, what I started doing more of was sending them emails. Like after I help them with their insurance, I send them an email that has all of their paperwork on there. And I started doing more follow-ups. So that's what has helped me a lot more because there was a period of time where I lacked the follow-up and I noticed that impacted. So I was like, okay, this is also part of something that I have to keep track of. So I started doing more follow-ups and more follow-ups with emails too. Right after I'm able to help somebody set up for their coverage, I'll send them like their paperwork, whatever's needed. Just tell them, hey, like I have a task for you. Just send me over a reply to that email to make sure that you received it.
Got it. And if they don't respond, are you reaching out to them again?
Yeah, just sending over like another follow-up text. That's the number one thing. It's just follow-ups with clients. That's the number one thing that definitely impacts in insurance, especially if you're like still like doing all the right things over the phone, and then if you don't follow up with them, that could still impact because somebody couldn't have received like their paperwork and they'll still take that personal.
Yeah, for sure. Um, okay, love it. So as you're building a team, where are you finding the majority? I know we talked about you do a lot on social media. Is that where you're finding the majority of your recruits?
That's all it's been.
Okay.
It's just been media.
Okay. And what is your interaction with them? So like I reach out to you and I'm like, hey Mons, I've been looking into this. This looks super cool. Can I get some more info? Or I'm asking you some questions. What are the things you're telling me that are like about FFL that you think are the most important recruiting points?
So I schedule a call with everybody like immediately. So I'm like, hey, are you available either today or tomorrow? Let me know what time works for you. I'm usually available more like in the like middays where I have more, I can kind of implement a little bit more. Um, but I'm always going over like what we do with the traveling to business events. I'm going over commissions, of course, because that's important for somebody to understand the way that it's structured. I go over producer bonuses. I go over like building a business and having a bonus as well on that aspect because I think like a lot of people can overlook telling somebody that they can build a business because they're afraid of what this person's going to think about their responsibility coming in. But I just want to be as transparent as possible because the conversation is going to come up regardless. So I would much rather do it day one and see how somebody takes it and then move on from there.
Got it.
So
And is there anything that like your anything about a person that would like make you not work with them? Like what are some things where you would say, hey, you're probably just like not a good fit for my agency?
none, none. Like I
Or
know I never look over like what somebody is like how somebody looks or whatever it is. If somebody's reaching out regarding an opportunity, a part of them wants it. The only thing is like I'm not gonna be attached to somebody being on like taking their course or doing their test. I'm not going to attach myself to it and consistently bug them about it. I have work to do and I'm still going to work with the people that are in office. So it's like I can put this person in the course, they can finish their testing, and as soon as they're done, now we're on it. Like now I'm actually putting in more time and taking you seriously.
got it. So you'll give anybody a chance, but you're not going to chase anybody around, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any
And that's good because you don't ever know. I mean, you don't know what people's story is or when it's going to be the right time for them or what they're going to do. And I talk about this a lot too with some of my managers. I'm like, every person sometimes that I thought would be like, oh my goodness, this person's going to be a killer ends up coming in and it might not be the right time for them. Right. And then there's some people that I've interviewed where I'm like, I don't really know. I don't think like this is going to work for them. And they end up being our top producer. So you can never, it's almost like don't judge a book by its cover. Right.
Yeah, exactly. Because I mean, I started off with no money too. I started off with like not really understanding how it was working, but I knew that I had more of like confidence in my ability to do things. And that's where some people are too. They don't really understand the industry to begin with, but as time goes on, they can start to really develop a passion for it.
Yeah. I love that. That's huge. Um, okay. So how do you hold yourself accountable to a schedule and just to be disciplined? Like you already have, right? Well, not you already have, but now you're making good money, right? And so it can be hard sometimes when you're making good money to not go blow it on things or take a break or say, oh, I can let my foot off the gas, right? Because to be honest, the level that you're at, girl, at, you know, about 400 grand a month, I was looking at your numbers, 400 grand a year personal, like you're making a good income, right? So why are you gonna, how do you keep on the days that are bad? How are you like, I need to keep doing this?
I like I don't I like I can't sit down and not do something if I'm gonna be
Like
honest.
I'm just, you're like, it's just ingrained. I'm just built that way. I don't know what to tell you.
I literally I don't understand the spending on things either, at least like for now. And I think a part of that also is just learning about like really successful people, even not just even in life insurance, but like a lot of people that also build very good businesses outside of life insurance, right? And it's you can get really the same thing as if you were not even in insurance to begin with. Some people can get really distracted with what's going on environmentally. So if you see people spending money because they're making money, but that just means somebody lacks long-term vision. And
Oh,
that's why I just of really accountable is it's just a reminder of the long-term vision. It's going to be much bigger. There's going to be much more to come. That $1,000 that has to go on a new I would much rather spend it on a new team member. I can't be spending it on other things that are like things that I wore wasn't the things that got me here to begin with. The more I actually invested onto other people, the more money I made. And that's the number one thing that I also learned. If I'm making more money by investing onto other people, just like any other business, if you're going to start up a t-shirt company, or if you're going to start up go into real estate, you have to be continuously reinvesting. And that's how you're going to be able to bring in more income. And then you bring in more income to be able to continue to invest bigger to scale it even bigger, right? That's just always been my mindset on everything.
yeah, that's huge. I love that. Honestly, girl, you have been phenomenal. Anything, I mean, a ton of mindset training, a ton of like, we need to get our butts in gear, right? Because you are out here killing it. Anything that you feel like we missed that you would like just like to leave the team with at all?
Um, I would say for people that are in here, I would say to try to get yourself to a level to increase your investment weekly. Like that's how you challenge yourself in business. It's just by continuously upgrading your investment back into your business. Like 3 tips. I literally wrote these down the other day and I would want to give it to anybody. 3 tips that I wish that I knew sooner was utilizing credit as a new agent is utilizing credit because and credit's going to buy you more time. And if you understand that long term, you're going to probably be able to spend income that you're making now to help yourself up to bring up your credit, even if it dumps a little bit. Understand that that's the long term part of it because you're going to do it regardless, right? Gradually increase your investments weekly and invest onto every single aspect of your business because the more you invest into life insurance and every single aspect, people invest your time onto what you're doing. And the more income you're actually going to start bringing in because you start to really take off your limitations. And the more that you start to set yourself up there with what you can also do yourself, then the more your team's also going to grow right alongside with you. So continue to invest into your own self development as well.
Yeah, awesome. And then I did just think of one more thing. So you're always really plugged in. So you're on the builders call, you're on the SRS call. I've seen you at a lot of in-person events. So Lock In Vegas last week. I'm sure you're going to Ignite. Annual convention, we saw you speak on stage, you killed it. So what, like, how powerful do you think it is to get to these in-person events and how much, you know, of your success do you think is attributed to that?
I think that it's a big part of everything that you do because you putting yourself in those environments helps you understand that this is real for you. So I love to attend those events because I understand that I can have an impact into what I'm doing. Like I want to be able to impact thousands of people and that's part of doing. Like I'm going to take every single call. It doesn't matter. Like some people won't take calls, because it's like time. I don't have to get paid on stuff. Like I know long term, that's just going to happen regardless, but you have to have that type of like putting yourself in those environments, right? To be able to become that person that you aren't. So I
Right.
think that's even for new team members. It helps them be bought into what they're doing too, helps them understand what their purpose is in insurance to begin with.
Right. I love that. Okay, a couple people are asking because we want a number, because numbers people. So as a brand new agent, you're bringing people in and then they're dialing some of your old leads. But let's say they're buying leads. What are you recommending for a budget for them to spend in their first week?
The aged vet leads or the aged IUL from CRM.
Okay, and you're telling them to spend how much? 300, 500, 1,000?
No, no, no. Those are like for one pack, they're like 175. So that's they instantly make. I had somebody the other day, he bought a lead pack himself and he ended up getting a his and hers, which was like a 2 grand deal from that. So his investment was 175 and he made, an ROI on it. Not only that, but he was able to get the repetition in, which helped him understand that it's also like I have to continuously call and stay locked in to be able to get to that.
Right. So a couple $100 and dial the heck out of those leads.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Love that. Okay, Mons, you have been amazing. I cannot thank you enough for getting on the call with us tonight. So I'm just in awe of what you're doing and we're just excited to learn from you. So again, thank you so much for hopping on. Guys, one last afterthought really quickly, because I don't want you to miss it. Make sure you guys get registered for the Ignite event. Mons is going to be there. And make sure you guys get registered for Des and Riyadh's lock-in. It's a really big deal that they're allowing other teams to come. Also, backtrack 5 minutes because I feel like I didn't finish my thought when I was trying to say Riyadh is our top salesperson on our entire team and has sold more than anybody on the team, guys. So the fact that they, as well as Desiree, are opening this up to everybody, guys, make sure you are getting in person with them to be able to see those two sell in person. There's nothing that's going to help you more. So, Mons, thank you guys so much. I couldn't be more excited. And guys, I will see you in 2 weeks. Let's hop back on the phones ASAP.
Thank you.